So welcome back. A very warm good afternoon to everyone. So welcome back to the session on your data structures here. So today we are going to start with a new topic, topic. You can say the new chapter. You can say with respect to your data structures, and that is what we call it as linked list. Okay. Now, this is also one type of data structure that we do have in our concept, and this data structure is actually used for many purposes here, many different type of purposes. We are going to use this particular linked list concept, and you can say that this is a variation to your first data structure what we had discussed in the previous chapter. That is nothing but your arrays. So we are in this particular topic, we are going to discuss about linker list here. There are some variations that we have with respect to linker list that we are going to see, and apart from that we are going to see how we can use this particular linker list to overcome the restrictions that exist when we are making use of something called as arrays. Okay, so whatever the limitations we do have with arrays, this that restrictions have been overcome by this particular linked list concept. Okay, data structure you can say. So this is this also consists of, I have divided this entire unit again into three parts. The first part is something we have introduction to linked list. You can see here. Then we have something called as double linked list, and followed with that we have circular linked list. Well, if you talk about linked list, in this we actually consist of the introduction part related to the linked list. Okay, what exactly linked list is, why this particular data structure has come into picture, and why we have to use this when compared to the other different type of data structures what we do have, that we are going to discuss here. Apart from that, we have something called a single list. Well, linked list, we are actually having four variations here. Something we have single linked list. So single linked list, I think you people are aware of it. Then we have something called as circular linked list. Then we have something called as double linked list, and followed with that we have circular double linked list. So these are the four variations what we do have. So in the entire unit, we are going to see how we are going to insert an element into them. We are going to see the different operations what we can perform on this particular thing. Something like inserting, deleting, searching for a particular number. All that we are going to see in this particular scenario or in this particular unit. So that in that the first one is something we call it a single linked list that we are going to see here, and then we will see how that linked list is actually used to and represented in a particular memory, and then we'll see the different operations that what we can perform in this particular what we call. I mean the different operations that we can perform on this particular linked list. Something like we have four operations here: insertion, deletion, creation, and traversing. Then we have something called reverse linked list and applications. This we will discuss in the end. This we are going to discuss at the end. Reversing a linked list, these are the applications that are related to this particular thing. Then we have something called as double linked list here. So double linked list also similar to this. If you are able to get a good knowledge, a sound technical knowledge on linked list, how to use this linked list, how to insert the elements in this particular linked list, how to remove the elements from this linked list, this double linked list and circular linked list becomes very easy. I will tell you one by one. I'll show you graphically also how these are exactly represented. It becomes easy for you. So my suggestion is, please do concentrate when we are actually focusing on something called as single linked list, because if you understand the different operations how we can perform on this, then it becomes very easy for you people to understand double linked list as well as circular linked list. And also one more what I said is circular double linked list. So it becomes very easy. So please do try to concentrate on this particular single linked list. So let's begin with an introduction part related. We know what do you mean by array here is data elements
One
that
dimension.
we already know it, isn't it? So it is a linear collection of data elements that we already know it. And if we are not wrong, we know that within this particular array is going to store all the elements in a sequential order. Sequential means within the location. Consecutive memory location has been used in order to store the data. What does that mean? Let me show you. So if you see here, this is an array, guess. If I'm not wrong, this is an array. Let me give the name as A. So you can see here there are locations here. These are the indexes. We have already seen in the previous first unit where we have used sorting techniques. All the sorting techniques we have implemented using something called as arrays. Now, if you see here, whatever the elements you want to store here, 7, 5, 4, 26. 30, 1, 0. Whatever the elements you wanted to store here, these elements are stored in a sequential locations. You can see here. So the 7 is present in location 0. So immediately after location 0, we have another address. We call it as 1. And within that address, we are storing the next variable. And similarly, after this, we are storing it another variable. So that is what we call it as consecutive memory location. Consecutive means one after another continuously. So here the memory means within the system, you should have a continuous memory space like this, where we people can store the elements like this in this particular order. That's why it is called as a linear data structure. Then all the elements, whatever we are storing within this, that will be in a sequential locations. No, but here when we people are declaring an array, the first thing, or we can say it is a restriction, you can say, now you can say it is a limitation that this particular array is having, that we need to specify the size of that particular array. So whenever we people are actually initializing or declaring a particular array, we are actually, what we are doing it here, we are actually declaring the size of that particular array, something like when we are initializing int a of size 8. So what does that mean? You can allocate only 8 elements within that throughout the entire program. Throughout the entire program, you people can use, or you people can store only up to 8 elements. Beyond that, in case if you people have to add new elements, it is not possible, because that is a limitation here, because we have to declare the size for a particular array in the initial itself. Now let us suppose if I'm declaring that array as something a of size 100. Now I'm allocating sufficient space here. Okay, that's fine. But when I'm executing the program, let us suppose I have taken only 20 elements. Then what about the remaining 80 spaces? I have actually, when I have initialized this particular array, I declared the size of 100. Means 100 slots I have booked it. Okay, 0, 2, something so on up to 100. I mean 99. But among this, I'm using only the first 20. So 0 to 19 only I'm using. Then what about the remaining 80 space that is getting wasted? You have initialized statements. By default, the system is going to initialize that 100 spaces. But among those 100 spaces, you might be using only 20 spaces. Then that means that 80 spaces are getting wasted. That 80 space can be given to some other process for continuing the task and all. But since we have initialized within this program, this 80 space, we are not using it, so it is getting wasted, and it cannot be used by any other process which requires that particular space. That is the limitation we have with respect to this particular arrays. So here that is what he's saying. See, int marks 10. So here what does that mean? Up to a maximum of 10 elements, or the data elements, I can store into this particular array called as marks. Beyond that, I cannot add. If the 11th student comes up, I wanted to add the marks. It is not possible here. That is what the thing. So that is the limitations we have here. We can store only limited number of data items. Now, efficient use of memory is not possible. Now, why he's saying efficient use of memory is not possible here in this particular case? Why exactly he's saying in this way is because of one reason. The reason is that see, in the system, I mean in the operating system, you may not be able to get the memory where you people are having locations in a continuous manner. There is a possibility that within the system you may not be able to get memory spaces in a continuous order. And you know that in arrays, whenever you're storing the element, they should be stored in a continuous order, or else it's not possible. Continuous order in the sense nothing but the locations I'm talking about, the index. The continuous address should be there. For example, if it is starting from address 0, I mean 201, then immediately in 202, the next element should be present. In 203, the next element should be present. In this way, it should be. But there is a possibility that within a system, we may not be able to get such a kind of continuous memory allocation all the time. That is a big problem we do have. That's why we may not be able to utilize the memory efficiently. Okay, because it requires a sequential memory location, and that may not be available. So we may not be able to use that memory properly. So what is the solution we have here is linked list. This is what is linked list here is nothing but it is a data structure. Okay, and this is this linked list is not nothing but this is another data structure that we do have, and it is used to store the data the same way arrays are doing. But only difference is that we don't have to store these particular elements in a consecutive order. We don't have to store the elements in a continuous order. Maybe for example, the first element might be stored in location 0, 7. then the next element 5 might be located in some other location. Okay, sorry, the first, this element 5 is located in some other location, let us suppose 205. So if you ask me, the first element which you have stored here, it is located at address 0, but whereas coming to the next element, it is located at address 205. And then the third address, wherever you are declaring, you have declared here something called as 8, that will be stored in some other location, let us suppose 305. So you can see here the location is different. The address of every variable or the every value what you are inserting here is different. That is the best part of linked list. Still, these are in a sequential order. Still, these have been stored in a sequential order. That's why it is a linear data structure. Linked list is also a linear data structures like arrays, but it overcomes the restrictions that are present in this particular arrays. That is nothing but storage is limited, but here there is no limit for storing the data. It is unbounded, means limitless. Until you have the size of your external hard disk, until you have the maximum size of your RAM, till then you can keep on adding the numbers, till then you can keep on deleting the numbers. No restriction. Only limit is what is the size of your RAM you are having, that may be your limitation, or what is the size of your external hard disk you are having. You people are using it now 1 TB of hard disk, or like 500 GB of hard disk. So this is the limitation. So till 500 GB is filled, you people can keep on adding the data. No restriction here. That is the best part. And moreover, the locations will not be continuous. So you people can keep on adding as many number of elements as you want. And you don't have to declare any in the beginning itself. You don't have to declare the size of that particular linked list, because here the elements will be inserted dynamically. Here the data, whatever the data we are installing here, we are going to use dynamic information. So dynamically I mean the particular value will be inserted into the list whatever we people are creating. I will show you how exactly it is going to take place. So you can see here the only limitation what we can here have for linked list is that this linked list can be accessed only in a sequential manner. Like for example, within an array, when you are storing the elements here, so suppose you want to get the element what is present in this particular location. So simply you people will call a of 2, and then automatically whatever the value is present in that location, you people can get it. But that is not possible here in this particular something called as linked list. Why it is not possible here is because I will tell you how exactly the information is stored so that you can come to know. So sequentially we have to access. Suppose you want to, I want to access the information present in this location. If I'm using linked list, then first I have to visit this particular node. First I had to visit this particular element, whatever the value is there. Then after that, I will be visiting this particular, and then finally I'll be visiting to this particular node. So I need to go in a sequential manner when I'm dealing with linked list. But in case of arrays, whichever the location you want the data, you can simply give the location number. Automatically, it will show you the value present in that particular location. That is the only thing that is not possible in linked list. Remaining all is possible with respect to whatever the limitations we have with respect to arrays. Okay. Now the basic terminology what we use here is, so how exactly the linked list is going to be represented. I'm going to explain here. So here first we have something called as node. Now every linked list is represented with the node. Every linked list will be represented with the node. This is what we usually call as node. Let me explain it, then I'll show you the slide. So every linked list will be represented as a node here in this particular way. This node actually consists of two. This is actually divided into two blocks. This particular node, whatever you're seeing, that is a box. That box is actually consists of two different blocks. This is the first block. This is the second block. This is the first block. We will be storing the data elements. We will be storing the data elements. Okay, so what do you mean by data elements here? Let us suppose this is an array. So in the array, how you people are storing the data elements? 7, 5, 3, 8, something like this. Okay, you people are stored. Now here, this is the data element, right? So this data element will be present in this particular block. We call it as a data element. So this we also call it as a data block. Data block. So actually a linked list is represented in a format of a node, where a node consists of two different blocks. The first block is what we call it as a data block, where we are going to store the data elements of similar type, whatever the data set, like in 7538, that will be stored in this particular block. And every node will have only one data. Remember, for example, here I have the first value 7. So 7 will be placed here. Then I will be having another node. This node, the first block will contain 5. Then another node. In this I'll be contain 3. Then I have another. So how many elements if you have 4 elements here, you're going to use 4 nodes. If you're having 10 elements here, 10 data elements you are having, then you have to use something called as 10 nodes. So this is a way how we are going to store 5, 3, 4 like this. So what about the second one here now? Means this is this particular block doesn't contain data. It contains a pointer variable. I think you people are familiar with pointers. We have all that you people might have already discussed in what we call in C language. So the second block, whatever we have within a node, that will consist of a pointer variable, like something like star P, star C. So C is a variable, and since we have written star before that, we call it this as a pointer variable. Now this pointer variable will point to the address of the next node. Okay, this is what, please understand carefully. This particular block is having an address something called as 100. Now you have stored the variable 5. Now you have stored another data element 5. Suppose the address is 200 and this is 250. The address of this node is 250 and the address of this node is something 400. Assume it. Now the first node, whatever the node we have taken, what is saying is we people have stored the value here. The second block will consist of a pointer variable and that points to the address of next node. What is the next node we have here? 5. Isn't it? The next variable what we have to store is 5 and that is stored in this. So this is your node number 2. So here this pointer, whatever you're presenting here in this particular location, it will point to the address of the next node. So what is the address of this particular node here? 200. So this 200 I am going to write here. Now what will happen here is a chain formation will take place like 7, 200. Now there is a link. So that 200 block will come up here. This is 100. So it also consists of 2 blocks now. So in the second block, I will be having a value called 5. Now I think you people know understanding how exactly it works. Now what about this particular now? This is another node number 2. So this will also consist, the second block will contain a pointer. That pointer will block to the next node, the address of next node. What is the address of next node we have here? 250. Now that 250 will be written here. 250. So it will be pointing here. So this will consist of 3 and then 400. So 400 will be represented here and that's the reason. So this is your 400. So here finally the last value whatever you're having. Now in case, now if you see that if you don't have any other element, these are the 4 elements you people have declared here, then the address of this particular next node of the last node, the next block whatever we have, it will not contain anything. It will either consist of 2 things. Either you can represent as null or you can represent as -1. So here you will be, so this particular slot indicates that this is the end of that particular list. No more elements are present here. Okay, so last node whatever we are having, the last block we will be representing either using null or we are going to use something called as -1. Let me show you here how exactly people will be getting it. So I'm going to add to 4 numbers here, 7, 4, 3, 2. Let us suppose these are the numbers I wanted to store it. So how many nodes will be created? How many nodes we need to create here? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So total 4 nodes I need to create in this way. And every node consists of 2 blocks. The first one is data block. So this will consist of 7. This will consist of 4. This will consist of 3 and the same 2. And the next block, whatever. So let me write the address. Let us suppose the address for this block is 100. This block is 150. Let us suppose, let me write it as 150. Okay, I will use a separate pen for this so that you people can understand it. So suppose the address for this is 100. This is 150. This is 200. 250, some random numbers I'm giving here. So this particular block or this particular block, okay, the next block of this particular node will consist of the value called as 150, which will form a link with this particular node. So this is a 150th node. So there is a link formed here. Now this will consist of a value. This is the address of what? Next node. What is the next node? This is the next node what we are having. What is the address of next node? So that we are going to store it here. And this will be pointing to this. And this will consist of something called as 250, and this will be pointing. Now we don't have any other elements. This is the last node what we have. So this will be directly pointing to something called as null. Either you can write null or you can also write it as -1. That's up to you people how we are. So when we are going for programming, when we'll do C programming in C program, when we are creating this, we will be using something called as -1, and using that we will be representing it. This is what exactly we call it as linked list. So every node, okay, linked list is represented using a node, and every node consists of two parts. One is what we call it as a data, and another is a pointer variable. Pointer variable which points to the address of next node. So this is the address that will be coming up here in this particular thing. So I hope you people have understood. Let's see it, how exactly it is actually represented here. So a linked list is nothing but, we, as you know, it is a linear collection of elements here. Now the elements will be called as nodes. So here it is act as a, so it is used for representing other. So linked list can be used for representing other data structures, something like stacks and queues. That will come in your third unit. So it is a linear sequence of nodes. As you know, sequentially we are going to store the information, whatever the data we have, but the memory locations might be different, as you people have seen here. Okay, I just erased it. So whatever you people have seen here, in the same way you people are going to perform the operation. So if you see in this particular case, this is the representation of your linked list here. You can see, okay, these are the nodes. This is your node 1. This is your node 2. This is your node 3, node 4, node 5. This is your node 6, and this is your node 7. You can see here. Okay, so total how many elements I'm going to store here is 7 elements I have actually going to store in this particular location. Now here, when I'm storing this, you people might have seen something, this particular thing. Now this is actually a variable, and please remember this is a pointer variable, because here we are going to use all pointer variables only. Now this start node, whatever you people are seeing here, this is a pointer variable, and this will be pointing to the next elements, whatever are present in this particular thing. Okay, whatever the pointers we do have here in this particular thing, all we are going to represent with that. So in the beginning, we have a start variable. This is a start. This is a pointer variable, and it will contain the address of your first node. It will contain the address of your first node. For example, the address of this first node is 100. This is 150. This is 200. Let us suppose 300. This is 250. This is something 500. And this is something 172. Let us suppose this is address. Yeah, these are random addresses what I'm declaring here. So whenever a new node is created, that is node 1 is created, that how that particular system will come to know this is a node 1 means we will be having a pointer variable called as start. And this will consist of the address of the node 1, means here we are going to store the value called as 100. Now this will be pointing to node 1, and after that the remaining process is same. So first we'll be writing node 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here this particular place will consist of address of next node. What is the next node we have here? 150. So this is 150 we are going to write here. And then we will be declaring the data here. So data is represented as 2. Now this particular block will contain the pointer variable next, that points to the next variable, I mean next data where we are to store. That is the address is 200. Now it is going to store here the data called as 3. Now this will be representing something called 500, and within this we are going to store the value called as 4. And this will be pointing address to the next node, that is this. So here we are storing the value 5. Now here this will be 250, and this will be representing here finally 500. And since 7 is the last node, this is the last node we have. We don't have any other node. So here in this place, we will be representing either null or -1. This is a way how we are going to work on this particular scenario. I hope you people are getting it. Now, every node in the linked list consists of two parts. Okay, whatever I explained you, that he is giving it in a theoretical way. First is an integer, that is nothing but data. So two parts. First one is data. Second one is address of next variable, or you can say address of next node. And that's why that is what we are representing using a pointer. We are actually using a pointer in order to represent it. So an integer and a pointer to the next variable. So first one is an integer, that is a data which we are storing it. And next block is a pointer to the next variable. So this will point to the next variable wherever we are storing the information. So here, this is what we call it as a node. This is what I am calling it as a node. And this, the first one is the one we have data, and the next one what we have is here is a link. Okay, you people can call it as a pointer here. Pointer. It's a pointer variable which points to or which contain the address of next node. So whatever the next node we have, that address will be stored in this particular location. But the first block will consist of data. Now, same thing. The left part of the node contains the data that I already told you. So data can be of any type, but remember that all the data should be of similar type. Like we will be using something called as a what we can say. This, for example, if you people are storing integer here, suppose the data whatever you want to store integer, then the next element should be of type integer. But in case if you people are storing the data something called as a floating point like 1.5 float, then this should be also 2.7, 3.5, 4 point. So it should be a floating type. Similar type of data only we can store it. We cannot store a normal type of data. Means a different kind of data cannot be stored in the particular linked list, just like your arrays. So here, if you talk about the right part of the node, it contains, that is what I said, the pointer to the next node it will consist of, and it will be connected. And the last node will consist of something called as null. Means that is the end of that particular list. So basic terminology here is nothing but start, as I told you. So in the previous diagram we have seen start is nothing but it's a pointer variable, and it will contain the address of the first node that I already told you. So user, whenever we wanted to traverse the list, like from starting to ending, whatever the elements we have, we want traversing is nothing but visiting each and every node one by one and determining the value present in it. So that if you wanted to do that, you will be doing it using this particular start. We should start with the start operator, because that is the one which points to the first address. And if you people have written something, a code like if start is equal to null, what does that mean? Start equal to null, that means there are no elements that are present in the linked list. Indirectly, the linked list is right now empty, because whenever you people create a new node, the address of that particular node will be present in this particular start variable, pointer variable. This will contain address, and if this is null, what does that mean? That there are no nodes present here. Initially there is no linked list that has been created here in this particular scenario. That is what he's saying in this particular thing. So in C language, the linked list is implemented using the structures. So in C language, how you people can, so whatever the node you people have seen here, this is the node, right? And I wanted to create this node. The first block consists of data. Second block consists of address of next block. So whenever I want to create this node, which consists of two elements here, that we can do it in C using structures. And this is the data structure what we have to use, struct node. And within this, I am giving two elements here, int data, struct node star next. So int data means it will point to this particular information, this one. It will point to the first one. Struct node star next, in the sense this is as I told you, the second block consists of a pointer variable. This is a pointer variable. Please do remember, we need to use this in programming, both the things. So that's why people please concentrate here. The first one is the data, int data. So it is of type integer data, which I'm going to store it. Then the next one consists of a pointer variable, right? A pointer variable. And that variable will consist of address of next location. So that is what here is star next. So here the pointer variable what I'm using here is the variable is next, and it is a pointer variable. So before that I'm writing it as star. So these are the two things what we need in order to create a node. Okay, that is this is how we are going to create a node in structures. I mean, in C language, struct node, and within this we have something called int data struct node star next. This is the way how we are going to create it. So here there's a small note here that what are the different operations we can perform on this particular linked list is we can perform something called as insertion, deletion, and updating. All these things we can do it up, and all this we are going to perform it without having any extra space. You don't have to waste additional spaces in order to do that. You people can directly do it. No problem in that. Automatically you can perform the operations. You can create as many spaces as you want. You can delete as many spaces as you want. You can keep on updating the data without any wastage of space, like that what's happened in your arrays. Okay, so that's what the basic terminologies we have. Now we shall see how in memory in the sense nothing but in your system, how in your system this linker list is actually going to be maintained. Now as I told you, this is a start is a pointer variable which points to the first node. Okay, so I'm going to create the node, and the address of that node where I'm representing as 1 here. So you can see here, so this node is containing, so the first node, this is your node 1. The first node is created and the address of that node is 1. And that 1 I have stored into this particular pointer start. This is most important. If you're not doing it, then it's very difficult to find which one is the starting node. So definitely whenever you are creating, you should have a start pointer, and this pointer will point to the first node whichever is created. So this pointer consists of a data called as h. Okay, it is consisting of a alphabet here h, and apart from that it has another variable something called as 4 here. And what does this particular 4 means? This is the address of next node. So here you are going to get a next node, and the address of that next node is 4. Please do remember, the address of the first node is 1 and the address of the next node is 4. Means in between 2 and 3 is there, but these two nodes are used by some other application, not by this particular application. This is the best part of your linked list. You don't have to store the data in a sequential order. You can store it in a random fashion. So you can see here at 4 location 4, you are having another node which consists of next element called as E. Do you know what exactly I'm going to do here? I'm simply trying to write a term called as hello. I'm simply trying to write a term called as hello here. So one by one, I am performing this operation. So first one is H, then E. So E is located in which particular address? 4. And the next element where it exactly it is present is in the next address 7. So 7 is the place where I'm going to store it. So you can see there is a link formed here 7. So at location 7, I'm having the next value called as L. And what about the next one? Next one is present in a new node called as 8. The address of that node is 8. You can see here. And then the next address is O. And if you see here, after this O, I don't have any other variable, which I mean any other alphabet which I need to store. So automatically what happens? This is the last node. This is your last node. So what happens here in the last node, the address should be represented with -1 or null. In your case, I'm representing this with -1. Okay. So in the program, we had to use -1. So I'm representing this as -1. So if you see here, HELLO, hello. Okay. So hello is the terminology what we are exactly using, and you can see here, this is the way how the linker list is actually formed. So every linker list will consist of, remember, 2 blocks. First one is a data block. Another one is the address for the next block. We call it as a pointer variable. We represent that with a pointer variable star next, because this next we are going to use in the coming program. So please do remember that. So this is first one. Okay. And how this will be represented in your memory now within your system or in your RAM, how that will be represented, you people can see here. This is the way it is going to represent in your memory. You can see here start. So this is your starting one. So it will represent the first node. So first alphabet is present in this particular node. I mean the address 1. What is the data? H. So the next will be, so I think you understand this. Next is the next which points to the next address. What is the next address here? 4. From here, you will be coming to this particular location. And here you will be storing the value E. From here, you will be going to 7. So you are storing L here, next 8. here, and then finally here. So since no other elements, we are representing with -1. Now you should get a doubt here, sir. Then what about the remaining slots? Now we have a 2 here, we have 3 here, we have 5, 6, 9. We are not using them. What is the reason? Well, these are being used by some other people. These are being used by some other application. This application is using these slots, this one, this, and finally this. And whatever you people are seeing that are empty here, these are being used by some other. These are being actually used by some other application. Some other application means like the way I have written hello here, same way another process might be executing, and that might have you using this particular memory slots. That is what. That also I'll explain it. That also I will show you. Wait. So take this. So here I'm taking two terminologies here. There are two different type of students here. The one which are opting for biology, one who are applying for computer science. So let us suppose intermediate students are there, 12th standard students. So I'm giving an option that whether you can opt for biology, whether you can opt for computer science, whichever you want, you can access it. So if you see here in this particular case, uh, if anyone is opting biology, they all will be stored in one linked list. Here, if those who are opting for computer science, the students will be in a separate linked list. So two linked list I'm going to start here. The first one is related to biology. If you can see here, this one is related to biology. So biology students, how many are there that I'm representing here? So here total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the roll numbers. SO1 is nothing but the roll numbers of those particular students here. So total how many students are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 students are there, and they are the one who are actually going to opted for biology. And initially, they should have a start pointer, and that is representing 1. Now we have another student list of student. They are the one who has opted for computer science. So if you see here, I have another start pointer variable. In this scenario, I'm having two different start pointer variables. The one is representing to the address 1 and another one is representing to the address 2. So you can see here, these are the students, those who have opted for computer science. Okay, you can see here, these are the students who have opted. If you see here, the first address, address number 1 consists of a student who has opted for biology. But if you see the second address here, this is used by another student who has opted for computer science. Means computer science related application is using this particular slot too. 3 has been used by something called biology student, but whereas coming to the 5th slot, this has been used by the second group of students, that is nothing but computer science students. So this is the way how we have represented. Now I will show you within the system how you are going to represent. Yeah, so within the system, this is the way how exactly we are going to represent here. So you see here, there are first option is biology, second student is computer science. So you should go in a linked list fashion. So first number I have stored in SO1 and then next represent the address of the next person or the student who has opted for biology. Where exactly is located at number 3. So he's going to come here. 3. So this person is a biology student. From here again, we are going to the next address is 8. So if you see 5 is filled, 7 is filled, but those we are not going. We are directly going to the option number 8. And that person consists of a biology student. And then it is going to the next address 11. So 11 again consists of a biology student here. And then we have 13. So 13 also consists of a biology students. Finally 15. So S11. So this students also belongs to biology. Since there are no more students here, I am representing that with -1. That means that is the end of that particular list. But whereas coming to computer science, we have a start pointer representing from node 2. So second node is the one from where we are exactly going to start with the students who are actually belonging to computer science, or you can say any other also. So here, this student, okay, let me show it with green color. So this one is the one who is coming under your computer science. So from here, we need to go to the next address 5. So 5 is here. So this student belongs to computer science. The next address is 7. So this person is also from computer science. Next, we need to go to 10. So this one. From here, I need to go to 12. So 12, where exactly 12 here is? It is here, 12. And finally, you can see -1 means this is the end of that particular list. This is how exactly this particular thing is actually working in this particular scenario. Okay, I hope you people are getting it. This is a way how linked list actually stores the information. And you know what is the best part of this is you can see that we don't have to store the information sequentially. Like in the first one, biology, we are stored in node 1. We don't have to store the next element in node 2. We can store any other location. And this is how your operating system works. In your operating system, you can never get a memory slots which are sequential. Means 1 2 3 4 5 6. In that way you will never get the memory you will be getting always in a random fashion, because some applications might be using some slots, some application might be using some other slots, so it's not possible to give sequentially the memory to all the same kind of applications. That is the only problem, and that problem is overcome by using this particular linked list. Now let's see what is the differences. What are the different differences we do have between your arrays and linked list? There are some variations which I have shown you here. If you talk about here, array is nothing but it is a linear collection of data elements. You know that even linked list is also something but linear collection of data elements. Linear collection nothing but sequential means 7, 5, 4. In this way, you're going to collect it. If you talk about the resizing these arrays, it is very, very costly. The resizing a particular array will be costly. Why? Because you have to enter into the program, then you have to modify it. And that is a big challenge. But whereas coming to linked list, what did I say? Dynamically, you people can create new nodes. You don't have to go and again resize it. So definitely the cost will be very, very less for linked list. And what are the operations we can perform here? Insertion, deletion we can perform here, but that is insufficient when compared to arrays here, because we cannot shift the elements. Shifting the elements will be very typical and compared to arrays. But whereas coming to linked list, insertion and deletion can be done very easily, because we have addresses. Based upon this address, you people can perform the different. That we will see how we can perform. So here, insertion, deletion, everything we can do it very easily, and it is not going to cost you much. But whereas coming to arrays, well, it is going to cost you definitely, because first thing is we need a sequential addresses. That is nothing but 0, 1, 2, 3 like this. And in this we are going to store the information. That is very typical thing. No, that's something like very expensive kind of thing. Within the system, as I told you, that operating system might not be able to provide it. That is what the difficulty that will come in operating system in the next year. I mean the next semester you have an operating system. There you will be seeing how exactly internally the memory is going to store. And after that we have random access due to efficient indexing is possible. So any number, suppose I want to know what is the number present in a of 5 in the location 5, you people can easily access it. But whereas coming to linked list, you cannot access it, because here the addresses are different addresses we are using here. So we don't know in which address which particular data is stored. So randomly if we want to know what is the value present in the location, it's not possible. You have to go sequentially one after another, right from beginning, from start. From start you have to start, and then one by one node, because every node contain the address of next node. So definitely you have to visit these nodes one by one, then only you can get the values. That is what he means to say here. And coming to here, no memory wastage take place if the arrays are full. Means if you are using the array, suppose you have declared array of size 100, and if you are using this 100 size, the size whatever you have declared here, that many elements if you are declaring here, then it's okay. You are utilizing 100%. But in case if you're declaring an array of size 100, but every time you're using only 20 elements, means every time you're wasting 80% of your data, 80% of the space of a system, you're simply wasting it. That is what he's saying. So memory wastage does not take place if you are using to the fullest whatever the memory you have declared here. But in case of linked list, no such restriction. Whenever you want, you can create a node. Whenever you want, you can create delete a node. So no memory effect will take place here in this particular thing. The last but not the least, sequential access is faster since elements are stored in continuous memory allocation. So here in array, we are storing the elements sequentially 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all the elements will be present in the sequential locations. It becomes easy to access it. But if you talk about something called as linked list, we can't do that, because the first node may be present in location 100, but the next node may be present at location 250. So it's not possible. So we don't know where the second element is stored until we are accessing this particular node, because this node contains the address for the next one. So that is what a small drawback we have in your linked list. Remaining all is beneficial when compared to your arrays, but only this is the one where we people might be lagging it. And no issue here, because out of 10, if 9 are positive, 1 is negative, no big deal. You people can carry on with that particular thing. So what are the different type of linked list we do have here is, okay, we'll start wind it up here with this. Please have a look. So the different type of linked list, what we have here is something called as single linked list, double linked list, circular linked list, and circle double linked list. So these are the 4 we are going to focus on. Okay. And I'm going to represent them one by one, how it is represented. So you can see initially we have a start pointer variable, and this variable will consist of the address of the first node. So what is that? 4000. So you can see this is the first node created, and it consists of a data. So this is the data 10, and this is the address for the next node. So that is 1000. And 2000 is the address for the next node, and no more elements are there, so -1 is represented. This is what we call it as single linked list. This is your single linked list. Then we have double linked list, similar to single linked list, but only thing is front and back you are going to get. You can see here in double linked list what happens here. Within a node, you will be having 3 blocks. Earlier, you in the node used to have 2 blocks, single linked list. But when you come to the double linked list, you will be having 2 blocks. So this one will contain address, this one will contain address, this one will contain data. Now this address belongs to the previous node. This address belongs to the next node. So if you see here, I have represented -1 because this is the first node. So previously I don't have any other node. So this is -1. What is the next node I have here? 1000. So that will be coming here. If you see here in the second, this is node number 2. In this node number 2, the previous node will contain the address of previous. What is the address here? 4000. That is what represented here. And this is the address for the next node, which is going to come here. That is 2000. Okay. So if you see here, we don't have any other element in this side. So this address I have represented. This is after address. This is before one's address. So before one address is 2000. This is 1000, right? Sorry, there is a mistake here. This should be 1000, not 2000. 1000 we have to write because 2000 is this. So this address should come here. So this is the way how exactly this particular thing is represented. Okay, this is your double linked list. We will see them one by one. Don't worry. And this is something like a circular linked list. What do you mean by circular linked list is this is similar to your linked list concept, but only thing is from here, the last node, this will not consist of -1. Suppose this is the last node we have. Earlier, what did I say? If this is the last node, we are going to represent this with -1. But here, you will be having the address of the first one. This is what we call it a circular linked list. This is a circle we are going to follow. So here it is 4000. So when it is representing 4000 here, that means there is a link to this particular. You can see this is what we call it a circular. So from this node to this node, this node to this node, and from this node, we are again coming back to this particular node. So this is what we call it a circular linked list. And if you talk about what we call circular double linked list, this is also similar to that only. But only thing will be in circular double linked list, this is the one. So here in place of -1, what is the value you're going to get here is 4000. So here you will be having 4000, and you will have a link from here to here like this. And here, see, remember, since it is a circular linked list now, what is the previous node we have here? This one. So this will not be null. This will be 2000. This will be 2000 and this will be 4000. And this is what we call it as circular double linked list. So all this we are going to see one by one in the coming sessions. Okay, in the coming sessions, we are going to discuss them, and also we will see what are the different operations that are going to perform. So we will stop here, we'll wind up here. So all this we people can see it in the coming classes. What are the operations we do have with respect to this particular thing. So this is all related to what are the different operations we can perform with respect to linked list here. This we will see in the next session. And even I'll give you the algorithm, I'll explain it. Even I'll give you the program also, how exactly it is going to perform. So this is all for today's session. I hope you people have enjoyed watching this. Thank you. Thank you for watching.